what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy it. Michigan has, probably like the richest alumni base in the country, potentially.
Oh, I have no idea.
They would have to be near like top 5. Michigan, academic prestige, the business school, it's all, highfalutin, rich alumni. You win the Natty, you go through this down year. If you can rally the troops, well, you can see what happens.
Also, saying like that's what we do at Michigan just kind of made me chuckle. Like,
well, again,
you've won Natty in my lifetime,
but you can't engage if you engage in a.
That I remember.
It's a bad faith argument. You can't engage with them. Because obviously, Michigan doesn't do 5 stars. The entire point of the Harbaugh era was that they took 3 and 4 stars and made them really good, right? He's just flexing. He's celebrating, as any of us would be.
Thought it was funny.
So what does this mean for LSU going forward? Because I'd be lying if it didn't call in a lot of my original insecurities about the NIL era where I thought that, are we at an extreme disadvantage because of the state economy? And now we have a roster that we put significantly less money in than most of our peers, which is a bit by choice, right? And they've learned their lesson there, and that is going to change. But still, when you swim in these 5-star waters, Jake, that is when I do get concerned about your ability to win these bidding wars. Because and even then, do you even want to engage in the bidding wars? Because let's say you have a set number to pull from, and for you to up the offer, you have to take from somewhere else. What if the other school can just go back to the guy that has their belief, and they're like, we just need more. So they're not taking from their pool, they're just adding to it as the offer goes up.
Yeah, you've talked about this for a long time and not being able to keep up maybe in this space. You can be competitive, but can you at the end of the day do what you're talking about? Hey, we're tapped out, but we need you.
Yeah.
Like, do you have a we need you, person waiting in the wings? And I'm not sure that you do right now. Look, for me, like, high school recruiting is still very, very important. There's no question about it. But you also, like, this roster next year, regardless of if Bryce Underwood signed with you or not, you have to do better in the portal.
Yeah.
Have to.
First portal window here, especially.
You did really well the first year.
Mm-hmm.
The first year, you went out and you got some players that helped you get to an SEC championship game. It has not been that in year 2, year 3. I'm trying to currently think of an impactful player that came out of the portal this year. Now, you've had some, like Swinson developed, and so, from when he first got here to right now, Kyron Lacey technically is a player out of the portal, but he's been here for a long time now. Aaron Anderson's gotten better, but he was 2 years ago.
Here. Yeah.
I can only think of one. CJ Daniels.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that's it.
And even CJ, as much as, like, if you're watching tape, you understand how good he's been, because in the run game he's a mauler. He comes up with big catches. He doesn't have a ton of targets.
But if you had that equivalent level player at other positions, you'd be way more solid across the board. Right?
I agree.
Yeah. You still do want to go get a superstar or whatever if you can, but if you had like a CJ Daniels level player at safety, you'd be there you go, exactly. Jinx, you owe me a safety. You'd be
like put 5 on
spot. It. Yeah. Well, I'm not.
That's what I'm talking. Like, I'm not talking. Y'all, I hope y'all know this about me. I'm not talking about you go get the former 5-star because he has 5 stars. You've tried that as well, Denver Harris. That has not worked out for you. I'm talking about going to get it, like, impactful players out of the portal. Like, you're talking about Diego Pavia earlier, and that's who you're playing this weekend. I'm talking about, like, going to find a player that fits what you're trying to get done and use those resources that you were going to use on some of these high school players. Maybe you miss out, but you have to do better in the portal.
Yeah, and they will. They will. They are significantly upping their investment. They kind of thought they could go bargain bin shopping a bit. And,
well, it's been Dollar General results.
Unfortunately, if you look, I don't think this is unfortunate because I'm down for players to make as much money as possible. And I just love college football no matter what. But unfortunately, maybe for LSU or for schools that if you're stressing about money, go look at the rankings. You know, the results are the results. And it turns out the teams that spend the most have a much better chance of winning the most, right? Whether it's Oregon and they're 15-20, Ohio State and they're 15-20, Texas and they're 15-20, Georgia and they're 15, Ole Miss, right? Like all these schools, Tennessee, all the schools that put in the most money are all at the top right now, except for Signetti. Come on, Kurt, we need you.
But even he had a path from his JMU players. He got 13 of them.
Yeah, and even
him not being up there, he actually had something that was different. He had 13 veteran players that knew what it was like to win.
Well, and all jokes aside there, the main thing Signetti's doing right now is rallying investors. He is putting together a war chest. He even said it. He was like, they were like, why'd you go to Indiana? And he was like, I saw the Big Ten contract. Money. Duh. Like, what do you mean? I saw we were going to be able to pay players. So
I'm trying to think of and you're right, and I love how open Signetti is. I'm trying to think of teams that have overachieved this year. Like we didn't have expectations for them and where they're at and what they've done in the portal. Like Arizona State's not a team that's going to get a lot of headlines here. They had as much portal movement as anybody.
How about this? I read it yesterday. I didn't realize this. So over the past, out of the 27 potential starters for Saturday's game, 23 joined Arizona State in the last 22 months.
Yeah.
So the last 2 years. So they completely remade the team top to bottom.
I interviewed Kenny Dillingham.
Nice.
2 weeks ago, I think, or a week ago. I don't remember when it was. And I was asking him about that and, like, hey, coach, you're kind of speed dating a little bit. How are you finding all these players? Because that's who you're counting on. He's like, it is speed dating, but also I can turn on the tape and I can tell, can this player play for me?
Yeah.
He's like, if I'm watching a running back and on inside zone, he cringes on contact, can't play for me. If I'm watching a tape and a linebacker half steps on an ISO, can't play for me. He's like, and that's how he was. He's like, I'm looking for a certain mold of player right now because we have a certain identity. And I can tell in 3 plays, is that player going to be – because he's like, look, if the player's playing in the Power 4, he's starting out there, he's talented. He's talented enough to come play at Arizona State. He's like, these are the things I'm looking for. If I see them, let's go get them. If I don't, we'll move on.
Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.